Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
And welcome to Beth Israel. For some of you, it's a second home. For some of you, you've never been here before. So we want to welcome you on this wonderful holiday. One, it's Shabbat, and two, it's Sukkot, the holiday of our harvest festival. And perhaps as you came in, you saw the Sukkah, a temporary dwelling that's outside and decorated. And it's meant to be temporary just for this week. And we are thrilled to be able to celebrate with Lucas and his family as he becomes bar mitzvah on this, our Zman Simchatenu, our season of joy. So we joyfully are going to bring him into the covenant of Israel as an adult. And but before we do that, I want to just show you, we have screens above, and those of you who are online, you have everything that you need. on the YouTube. And please, everyone, turn around and look up at the white camera in the back and just wave and say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So that we can be an entire community, outside and inside. We begin our service with that same joy, and we say, Hine ma tov u'manayim, how wonderful it is to be together. Page 70, if you're having a prayer book in front of you.
Hine ma tov u'manayim sheberachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim sheberachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim sheberachim gam yachad.
Join us.
Hine ma tov u'manayim sheberachim gam yachad. How good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it
how
is,
sweet it is
to be together on this day. Good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov u'manayim sheberachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim sheberachim gam yachad. You may notice that Rabbi Bernstein and myself are wearing a talit. A talit is also known as a prayer shawl. It can come in lots of different shapes and sizes, well, generally rectangles, but it does come in different sizes. It's made of different fabrics, different colors, and they all look a little bit different. But what makes them all the same are these fringes, the fringes on the bottom at each of the four corners, which are wrapped and knotted in such a way to remind us of the 613 mitzvot, the 613 commandments found in the Torah, the 613 times God speaks to the Israelites and says, this is something very important to me that you do. So we call up Laurel and Seth to present Lucas with his talit, as they say to him, these are some very important things that we hope you will do.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit.
Lucas, your bar mitzvah happens to occur during the holiday of Sukkot, which is sometimes referred to as the season of joy. The high holidays are over, and in general, the mood is one of celebration. For us, it also carries extra special meaning as we experience the joy of watching you become a bar mitzvah. Joy in watching you lead the congregation today and seeing all your hard work come to fruition, and joy that we'll experience tonight as we celebrate with friends and family. And it's time to reflect on the joy that it is to be your parents and to have watched you grown into the young man you are today. There are a lot of things that come to mind when I think about who you are. You're self-motivated, thoughtful, and sweet-natured. You make anything you do look easy. You're fun-loving and adventurous, and you relish time with both friends and family. You love sports and candy, family movie nights, and all sorts of animals, especially dogs. You're fiercely competitive, a natural leader, and for better or for worse, you've inherited your dad's sense of humor. But there are two specific things about you that I want to focus on, because these are traits that play a particularly important role in who you are today and who you become as you continue to grow into adulthood. First, you're willing to try just about anything. In fact, in 3rd grade, your story, "I Can Do Anything," was chosen to be performed at school by the Imagination Machine. And as if you needed to prove yourself, you have done just about everything. Baseball, soccer, basketball, lacrosse, tennis, football, golf, skateboarding, rock climbing, surfing, disc golf, video games, Legos, puzzles, fantasy football, biking, rock polishing, a short-lived dog walking business. You even tried your hand at musical theater. Here's a very cute little sugar cube. And who knew that when we sent you away to camp, you'd become obsessed with log rolling? But what's important is that you've chosen all of these things for yourself. You've taken risks, and you've been willing to learn about yourself along the way. You've decided which of these things make you happiest and where to ultimately focus your time. And as a result, you're confident in who you are and comfortable in your own skin. You know exactly what you want, and you do everything with joy. Second, you have always been what I'd call a logical thinker. You might get that part from me. At the age of 4, you asked me if I knew that we got steak from cows. Upon answering yes, you went on to explain that you just tip the cow over, cut it open, and take out the steak. And logically, your next question was, do we have steak inside our bodies? I don't remember exactly how I answered, but I'm sure I was trying to avoid a conversation about cannibalism. A year or so later, your thinking evolved a bit, and when you lost your first tooth, you emphatically declared that you did not believe in the tooth fairy. You had a logical explanation about how she couldn't possibly be in all those places at once, and to prove it, you built an elaborate trap for the tooth fairy in your bedroom that she could not escape if she did in fact exist. So if your tooth was gone in the morning and there was money in its place, that was proof that it was not the tooth fairy. And over time, this logical way of thinking has developed even more into true critical thinking. You never take things at face value. You are always questioning, analyzing, interpreting, and making your own judgments about what you see, read, and hear. Whether it's in school or discussing current events at the dinner table, on topics as wide-ranging as politics, capital punishment, or the latest NFL concussion protocol, you've learned to think for yourself. This is an exceptional skill and will serve you well in all aspects of your life. Not everyone will agree with you, but just as your willingness to try anything has led you to be confident in knowing who you are, thinking for yourself will ensure that you don't compromise who you are for the sake of fitting in. Lucas, it's a joy to be your mom. Your dad and I are incredibly proud of you and hope you will always be willing to try anything and think for yourself. We love you.
Now for the good stuff. It's true what Mom said, you do get all the good stuff from her, a little bit from me, but all the good stuff comes from her. We're really proud of you, all the hard work that you've done to get here. You give 100% to your friends and your family. You give like 75% to your sister, but that's okay. And as Mom said, you kind of pour your heart into everything you do. Whether it's sports, schoolwork, your love of dogs, card collecting, Pokemon card collecting, football card collecting, all kinds of card collecting. Now it's sneaker collecting, which are like cards that are more expensive, and kicking a football. That's one thing that we've kind of shared over the years. You've gotten really into being a football kicker, and I've spent countless hours chasing footballs around the park and retrieving footballs, and it's been an honor to be your football caddy. You're my little sports buddy. I was really happy when you came back from camp and announced that you loved golf, so I got very excited about that. But it turns out it was frisbee golf, not regular golf, but that's okay. And as Mom said, you take a lot of chances. You're very brave. I love that you take those chances that will serve you well in life, like Mom said. As I recall, there was a a time where you performed a song at your talent show. I think one of your buddies is here today. But I know it didn't go as well as the high standards that you set for yourself. But it was incredibly brave that you guys got up and did that. Like, that was an amazing thing to watch. And like I said, that'll serve you well in life, taking those chances and being willing to do those things. Yeah. So whatever you decide to do in life, whether it's a football kicker, sports agent, sneakerhead, whatever you do, you'll be great at it, and we love you.
I begin with the prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services. But I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us, and to bring that vision to life. We pray responsively the Psalms of Ashrei on page 220. Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, Od Yehallelujah Selah.
Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo, Ashrei ha'am she'Adonai Elohav.
Tehillah leDavid, Aromimcha Elohaicha Melech, Va'avarcha Shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Bechol yom avarchecha, v'halala shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Gadol Adonai umhulal ma'od, v'ligdilato ein cheker.
Dor ledor yishabach ma'asecha, ugvurotecha yagidu.
Hadar kavod hodecha, v'divrei niflotecha asicha.
Ve'zuz norotecha yomeru, ugdulatcha asaprena.
Zecher rav tuvcha yabiu, v'tzidkatcha yiranenu.
Chanun verachum Adonai, erech apayim ugdol chesed.
Tov Adonai lekol, v'rachamav alchol ma'asav.
Yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasidecha yivarchucha.
Kavod malchutcha yomeru, ugvuratcha yadaberu.
Lehodia livnei hadam gvurotav, uchvod hadar malchuto.
Malchutcha malchut kol olamim, v'memshaltcha bechol dor ledor.
Somech Adonai lechol hanoflim, v'zokef lechol hakfufim.
Einecho elecha yesaberu, va'ata noten lehem et alam b'ito.
Poteach et yadecha, umasbia lechol chai ratzon.
Tzadik Adonai bechol derachav, v'chamir bechol ma'asav.
Karov Adonai lechol korav, lechol asher yikra'uhu ve'emet.
Ritzon yira'av ya'aseh, v'et shalom yishmei v'eim.
Shomer Adonai et kol ohavav, ve'et kol harshayim yashmid.
Tehillat Adonai yudaber pi, v'yarach kol basar eish kadosh leolam va'ed.
ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah.
O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. O let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. Please rise if you are able as we face east for our Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה ואמרת, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך עולם הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר, שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו יושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. הללויה.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Page 233. And who is wise? The one who learns from everyone. And who is mighty? One who controls one's urges. And who is rich? One who is happy with what one has. We pray responsively on page 235. For the good in us, which calls us to better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and hands, we give praise.
For the peace in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For the gift of Shabbat, which renews us for life, we offer blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Please turn to page 237. Adonai, our God, may we, your people of Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are God, whom alone we serve in reverence.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod.
We read responsively on page 239. For the gift in our souls, for the promise of our lives, for all we are and all we might yet become, for the creative seeds sown within our minds, whose nurturing can yield a grand harvest, for all these gifts we thank you, O God, and pray that we prove ourselves worthy.
May our lives be ripe with the fruit of compassion, sweetly sustaining those in need. May we use our gifts wisely and with love, true messengers of blessing to the world. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot.
We join together in Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace on page 240.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Please take a moment for silent reflection.
We come to the pinnacle of our service, where in just a few moments, Lucas will take our Torah scroll into his arms and bring it out into the community, because the Torah is something that was given by Moses to Joshua, to the prophets and elders, and down generations, thousands of years, from parent to child, and today from his grandparents to his parents to Lucas. And that Torah he will read from and he will teach from. So we are privileged today to be able to do that with him. So I would like to invite up Michael and Barbara Gerber, Edward and Carol Schechter, Laurel and Seth Schechter, and Lucas to come to the bima. And won't you all please rise?
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Adonai iti, uneromema Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל לראש. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו.
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks, family. Shabbat Shalom. Fantastic. Hopefully they'll get a little more ruach, a little more spirit down at Petco tonight. Okay, fantastic, great. We are all in, Lucas. We are here for you. Thank you. Well timed. Now, on a normal Shabbat, we would be reading the weekly Torah portion. Tomorrow night begins Simchat Torah, our celebration where we scroll the Torah, we read the last words of Torah at the end of the book of Deuteronomy, and we scroll it all the way back to the beginning, to the book of Genesis, and we begin reading from the beginning. And every week, from one Simchat Torah to the next, throughout the entire year, we read a section of Torah known as a Torah portion. Unless that Shabbat falls during a holiday. And so this week, this Shabbat, we actually don't read from the end of Deuteronomy, but somewhere towards about 2/5 of the way in the book of Exodus. And the section of Torah that Lucas is going to be reading for us, a special Sukkot reading, comes from Parshat Kitavo, but it talks about the structure of the golden calf. Now, Lucas is going to teach a little bit more about this in a little bit. But I also want to emphasize that the golden calf was a moment where the Israelites had just left slavery in Egypt. They had left everything they had known, and not only what they had known, what their entire families had known for 400 years, which is the Torah's way of saying many, many generations. They left what they knew, and they came to this new land, and they went with the guy who took them out and said, we're going to be free. And they said, great, fantastic. And then Moses says, I'll be right back. Wait here. And 40 days and 40 nights later, he wasn't back. So you can understand. They were a little anxious. And so they built the golden calf. Now, what does this have to do with Sukkot? Just a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks in fact, we had the holidays of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the year, Yom Kippur, our Day of Atonement. We begin this year of 5783 with shakiness. We sit in our Sukkot, our structures, which are temporary. We shake a lulav and etrog, 4 species held together, and they're meant to wake our souls up and to kind of, as I spoke about last night, give ourselves a little reboot. We kind of shake to reboot. And here we have an episode in our people's history where they kind of needed to be shaken awake and saying, I know it's challenging. I know that it's been 40 days and the guy who promised to lead you to a better life, he's not back yet. But have some faith, have some hope, and we will eventually, together, get to the promised land. Lucas will offer 4 Torah readings. Each section of Torah will be framed in blessing. Those blessings are known as an aliyah. An aliyah literally means ascension, a going up. For our first aliyah, we call to the Torah Michael and Barbara Gerber, Edward and Carol Schechter, Michael Gerber Jr., and Andrew Gerber.
Ya'amdu Yehuda ben Yaakov v'Sonia, Tzipora bat Leib uBela, Michal ben Moshe ufega, Bracha bat Binyamin v'Telma, Michael ben Michael uvracha, Avraham ben Michael uvracha, Harishon.
Over. Nana.
Baruch atoi Adonai haram v'rach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch
Elam va'ed.
Baruch atoi v'ram Elohim v'red. Baruch atoi Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher b'sharanu kulam amen. Baruch
Amen.
Amen. Vayar ha'am ki voshesh Moshe laredet min hahar vayikahel ha'am al aharon vayomeru elav kum aselanu Elohim asher yelchu lefanenu Ki zeh Moshe ha'ish asher ha'elanu me'eretz Mitzrayim lo yadanu mehaya lo vayomer alehem aharon parku nizmei hazahav asher ba'oznei nishechem B'nechem uvnotechem v'haviyu elav v'yiparku kol ha'am et nizmei hazahav asher b'oznehem v'yaviyu el aharon.
Baruch atoi Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah amen. Chayim olam na b'shenu Baruch atoi Adonai Neotain
HaTorah. Amen.
For our second aliyah, we call to the Torah Sydney Schechter.
Ta'amod Hana bat Shmuel Menachem ve'Elisheva Hashniya.
Baruch et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayikach miyadam. Vayatzar oto bacheret, vayaasehu egel masecha, vayomeru ele Elohecha Yisrael, asher helucha me'eretz Mitzrayim, vayar Aharon, vayiven mizbeach lefanav, vayikra Aharon, Vayomar Chag l'Adonai machar. Vayashkimu mimochorat. Vaya'alu olot. Vayagishu shalamim. Vayeshev ha'am. Le'echol v'shato. Vayakumu l'tzachei.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'heyeh olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. For our third aliyah, we call to the Torah, Laurel and Seth Schechter. Ya'amdu Elisheva bat Michael uvracha, Shmuel Menachem ben Yehuda v'Tzipora hashlishi.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lech reid ki shichet amcha asher heileta me'eretz Mitzrayim tzaru maher min haderech asher tzivitim asu lahem egel masecha vayishtachavu lo vayitzbechu lo vayomeru Eila Elohecha Yisrael asher heilucha me'eretz Mitzrayim. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe ra'iti et ha'am hazeh v'chine an kashe oref hu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
We'll invite your parents to stay up here as we call to the Torah officially as a bar mitzvah, Lucas Maxwell Schechter.
Ya'amod, 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 Ari Moshe ben Shmuel Menachem ve'Elisheva, Bachur habar mitzvah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ve'atah hanicha li, v'echar api v'hem v'halem, ve'eseucha legoy gadol. V'echal Moshe et pnei Adonai Elohav, v'yomer lama Adonai yechareh apacha ba'amecha asher hotzeta me'eretz Mitzrayim b'choach gadol uyah chazaka lama yomeru Mitzrayim lemor per'ah hotzi'am leharog otam becharim uchalotam me'al pnei hadama shuv mecharon apacha v'hinachem al hara'ah lamecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
And at this sacred and profound moment, we offer a blessing of gratitude, Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
We rise for the lifting and dressing of Torah. We call to the Torah Michael Gerber Jr., Thomas Gerber, and Caroline Gerber.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יללי לי 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 יללי לי 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 יללי לי לי Ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la.
We come to what's called the concluding section of our Torah portion called Haftarah. Literally, it means conclusion, and it comes from the books of the prophets. Today's Haftarah for Sukkot comes from the prophet Ezekiel, who was, as a young man, a priest, a high priest in the temple. He was exiled to Babylonia, but he's known for his passion, his flair for the dramatic, and the extraordinary visions that he had. So this will be framed in blessings by Lucas.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'ni Im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hana'emarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai Habocher b'Torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'atzedek V'haya bayom hahu bayom bo gog al admat Yisrael ne'um Adonai Elohim ta'alei chamati ba'api uv'kineti v'eish evrati dibarti im lo Bayom hahu yeh ra'ash gadol al admat Yisrael. Vera'ashu mipanei degei hayam ve'of hashamayim ve'chayat hasadeh ve'chol haremes haromes al ha'adamah ve'chol ha'adam asher al panei ha'adamah v'nehersu hecharim v'naflu hamadregot v'chol homa la'aretz tipol v'karati alav l'chol harai cherev ne'um Adonai Elohim cherev ish ba'achiv tiyeh v'nishpatati ito b'daver uvdam v'geshem shotef v'avnei el gavish ish v'gofrit amtir alav v'al agapav v'al amim rabim asher ito. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol haolamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer v'oseh ha'mdaber u'mkayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah v'al ha'avodah v'al hanviim v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh v'al yom chag ha'sukot hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu liktushav linucha l'sason u'simcha l'chavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai ha'amid le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai meka'adesh ha'shabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmanim.
We call Ava Wiedner and Sydney Schechter up to the Torah to open our ark. As we return the Torah to the ark, won't you please rise? Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar deracheha darchenu netivotzeha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu
Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sukkot Sameach. Welcome to Beth Israel. I would like to thank you for coming to celebrate Shabbat with me and my family. My Torah portion, a special Torah reading for Sukkot, is from the book of Exodus. In my Torah portion, Moses is at the top of Mount Sinai, receiving the 10 Commandments from God. But Moses doesn't come down from Mount Sinai for the Israelites when he said he would. The Jewish people assumed that Moses had gone crazy just because he was a single day late. The Jewish people decided to take all their gold and melt it to a golden calf for them to worship. This is a terrible act, since idolatry is a great sin according to the Torah. God is furious with the people and tells Moses he is going to destroy them and start all over. Moses knows that what the people have done is terrible, but maybe because he hasn't seen it with his own eyes, he has a different perspective. Moses pleads with God to put aside his anger, remember the promise to Abraham and Isaac, and ultimately God agrees not to destroy the people. However, when Moses comes down from Mount Sinai and sees the people dancing around the golden calf, he becomes furious with the Israelites, and he breaks the stone tablets with the 10 Commandments on them. This is really very shocking, since the stone tablets were a connection between God and the Jewish people. Aaron tries explaining to Moses that the people made the golden calf because they didn't know what had happened to Moses and felt lost without a leader. Moses eventually calms down and agrees to ask God to forgive the Jewish people's sins. Eventually, God invites Moses back to the top of Mount Sinai. This time, God tells Moses the 10 Commandments while having Moses inscribe them into the tablets, instead of God inscribing the tablets. These new tablets show the connection between God and the Jewish people. For these tablets are the words of God, but the work of the human being. While there are many lessons we can learn from this Torah portion, today I want to focus on the idea of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a key part of human society. Without forgiveness, we hold grudges and worsen relationships. However, to ask for forgiveness requires that you are vulnerable, and to grant forgiveness requires empathy and kindness. When Moses first asked God to forgive the Israelites for creating the golden calf, he states, "Alas, this people is guilty of a great sin and making for themselves a god of gold. Now, if you forgive their sin, well and good. But if not, erase me from the records which you have written." While asking for God's forgiveness, Moses is also making himself vulnerable by suggesting that if God does not forgive them, then he should destroy not only the people, but Moses himself as well. While God does not initially grant the Israelites forgiveness, Moses continues to speak to God on behalf of the people. He asks God to demonstrate that Moses has gained his favor and that God will continue to lead the people. God ultimately shows Moses and the Israelites grace and grants them forgiveness. There was an important time in my life when I had to ask for forgiveness and be vulnerable. For the past 5 summers, I've spent my time with some of my closest friends at a boys' camp in Wisconsin called Camp North Star. North Star is one of my favorite places on earth because I can spend my summer with the people that I have developed such close bonds with in a stress-free environment. 2 summers ago, I was trying to be funny and getting a laugh out of my cabin mates, not realizing how my actions were making people feel. This led to some of my cabin mates being upset and angry with me. After I realized how I made them feel, I felt terrible and wanted to regain the bonds that I created with my friends. So I did what was necessary, but not easy. I asked for forgiveness. With the guidance of my counselors, I went to the people I had hurt and apologized to them. I was only able to do this because I held such close bonds with these friends and was able to be vulnerable. My friends appreciated my apologies, showed me empathy, and our friendships have grown stronger ever since. Not because we all just forgot what happened, but because I was vulnerable, I learned from my mistake, and we all made connections based on forgiveness. And we carry this with us today, just like the Israelites carried the broken tablets with them through the desert. Just as I was able to ask my camp friends for forgiveness and they were able to demonstrate empathy in granting it, I know that my friends and family here today would show me the same kindness. For starters, I hope you'll forgive any of my Hebrew errors up on the bima today. But seriously, people will always make mistakes. We are human and nobody is perfect. We shouldn't pretend like these mistakes never happen, but instead should learn from them. It is often by acknowledging and learning from our mistakes that we develop a special bond with our friends, our family, and God. I'd like to thank my mom for helping me stay on the path to success and making sure I wasn't stressed. And my dad for always keeping my spirits high and making me laugh. I'd also like to thank my dog Bodhi for letting me pet him relentlessly. Thank you to my sister Sydney, who would always distract and annoy me while I was trying to practice for my bar mitzvah, but who always checks in on me and makes sure I'm doing well. I'd like to thank my grandparents for always being so kind to me and being there to cheer me on during my sporting events. Thank you to all my friends, not only for being here to support me today, but for making sure exactly what they need to wear to a bar mitzvah. Thank you to my Hebrew teachers and Hebrew tutor, Shawl, for making sure I was prepared for today, and Rabbis Bernstein, Gimbel, and Navarez for guiding me and checking in on me through this journey. Lastly, I'd like to thank all those who have come to my bar mitzvah, especially those who have traveled from far away. Finally, I'd like to leave you with one last blessing. This Shabbat, may you feel strength in both granting and asking forgiveness. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, Yeiranu. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, Yeiranu.
Deep breath, buddy. You did it.
Yep.
I think what I admire most about you is that the disposition that you have at this moment is exactly the same disposition that you have every single time we get together. I know you thanked your mom for keeping you calm and everything. You're as cool as a cucumber, man. And I have a feeling that comes from a lot of inner strength. You have displayed that strength today in really beautiful and profound ways. You have taught us about how it's okay to not be perfect, and you weren't, and that's why you were perfect today. You have shown me, you have illumined for me something from Pirkei Avot, the teachings of our ancestors. Shammai used to say, speak little, but do much. I will admit, you weren't always the biggest talker in our conversations, but you do great things. You have done great things with your family, with the community that you have built, and we're so excited to see the great things that you will do in the years ahead. We're so proud of you, not just for what you've accomplished, but for the foundation that you have built for yourself. So it's my honor to invite Rabbi Bernstein up as we give you our tradition's most ancient blessing, the priestly blessing.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's face shine upon you with radiance and with grace.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's Spirit lift itself to you and give you the most precious blessing that we have for you, that of peace. And together we all say,
Amen. You want some presents? Cool. Great. Fantastic. Good answer. So we'd like to invite Danny Siklik, a member of our Board of Directors, up to present some gifts on behalf of our congregation.
Shabbat Shalom. I am here. I'm honored to be able to join and mark this milestone with your family and you and Sydney and everybody. And I have some presents to give you on behalf of the congregation. Before that, I gotta say, I was super stoked that when I found out that you did your mitzvah project with Anna Meals, because I deliver Anna Meals through JFS, and so I have seen firsthand the good and the important work that you did, and I'm so excited that you did that, and I think maybe I'm going to take a page from your playbook and do it for my son's bar mitzvah next year. So here we have the certificate that we all signed, that you signed today, marking your bar mitzvah. This is a book from the men's club to help you in the next part of becoming bar mitzvah, your next, as you continue in this journey. And these are from the women's club. It's wine glass and candlesticks, so that you can celebrate new traditions and family with your family and holidays. And there's supposed to be, is there a certificate? Is it in here? Okay. So a tree has been planted in your name, but don't try to find it because you won't be able to find it. And there's also a certificate from Nifty to help you when you want to go to Israel later on your initial trip. So congratulations to you, and Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Should we put them on here?
We begin to conclude this beautiful service by turning to Aleinu L'Shabeach, page 282. Won't you please rise?
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
We take a moment to pause and think of our loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days and in years past. We're especially mindful of all those in the Schechter and Gerber families. Their souls, their presence is surely with us at this sacred moment. Zichronam livracha. May their memories always be for a blessing. Page 294, we join together in Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya
v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Avsei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen.
We now transition. We want better. Oh. We are transitioning from. Something is wrong here. Okay, it's gonna hold it. From Shabbat to the rest of the week. We call the ordinary or the daily Chol. So we are on Chol HaMoed Sukkot. We're still in the holiday of Sukkot, but we are not yet at the end holidays of Simchat Torah. So I want to invite Lucas's parents and sister to come and be on the bima with us. And we are doing Haftarah. Haftarah is this small service that separates us, Shabbat, from the rest of the week. We use certain things like we do when we start, and one of them is this braided candle. So the candle reminds us of many wicks, not just two, like when we begin Shabbat, reminds us of our connection to each other today and to all the rest of our people. A spice box that reminds us of the sweetness of the Sabbath. We use this and we have the smell lift us up and carry us through until we get to the next Sabbath. And of course, wine and or grape juice is used in all of our celebrations. So we celebrate that way. We use all of our senses in Haftarah. And fortunately, a lot of the words are la, la, la. So as soon as you hear the tune and you know it, please join us. And it's perfectly acceptable to sing la, la, la. Down. If you're with someone that you're close to, you can put your arms around each other and join us.
Yai lai la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai lai ya la lai 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 ya la lai lai ya la lai yai lai la 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 lai 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 ya la 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 lai lai ya la lai 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 ya la lai lai ya la lai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam lechol המבדיל בין קודש לחול. המבדיל בין קודש לחול, חטאותינו עם כל, זרענו וכספנו ירבה כחול, והכוכבים בלילה. שבוע טוב, שבוע טוב, שבוע טוב, שבוע טוב. A good week, a week of peace. May gladness reign and joy increase. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Atishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi. Bimera ve'amenu yavo eleinu, b'Mashiach ben David, b'Mashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Atishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi. We say Shavua Tov and Mazel Tov. Wishing each of you a Shavua Tov, Chag Sukkot Sameach. Enjoy the party. Mazel Tov.